In this video, I'm going to show you how to install an invisible zipper. An invisible zipper hides in the seam more than a regular zipper. You're going to need a special invisible zipper foot in order to install it. If you don't have one, you can buy one in the fabric store, and this item is usually near where the zippers are, and it's just a generic universal foot. The first part is I'm going to take my zipper, and I have the teeth side facing up towards me. I know it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to undo the zipper, and I'm going to iron it on a low setting. You don't really want to have it any higher than your synthetic setting. If you have your iron too hot, you could start to melt the teeth in the middle there. Let's turn this other way. And we want to make sure that our zipper is going to lie nice and flat for us. The next step is we need to base the edges that we're going to be attaching the zipper to at our seam allowance. So this is the back of my skirt that I'm making. Here's one half of the back and here's the other half, and the zipper is going to be going between them, connecting both these sides here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to baste from my top of the skirt to the bottom of my skirt, because my skirt happens to be short. But if you have a short zipper, and you could probably do like a couple inches past that. We just want to make sure that this basting covers the whole length of the zipper. So since my seam allowance is 5/8 of an inch, I'm just going to do a 5/8 of an inch basting stitch on this side, and then I'm going to do a 5/8 of an inch basting stitch on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my machine here, and it's a good idea to use a contrasting thread, because then you can remove it later and it's easier for you to see, because you're going to use it as a guideline in putting in your invisible zipper here. And you don't have to do a back stitch or anything. I'm just going to go down the whole length. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the other side of my skirt, the other part of the back. So any pieces that are going to be connected to the zipper, you should do this too. We're next going to start attaching our invisible zipper foot. I'm going to start by removing my foot and my needle so I can get out of the way here. And if your machine has its own special invisible zipper foot, you're going to want to follow your manual on how to do it. So I'm also going to, because I have my foot that's attached to here, but I'm also going to remove this white piece as well. So all I have is the shank that's left. If your foot is attached to the shank up here, then you would just do it in one fell swoop. So I'm going to get rid of the screw here. And then we're going to start going over the different pieces of the invisible zipper foot. Now it's time to assemble the zipper foot. I have all the pieces here that came in my package. I know it looks a little like crazy Legos here that are a bit overwhelming. But the good news is we're only going to use 2 pieces. You're definitely going to use the white, because that's the bottom of our foot. And then we're going to use either one of these color pieces here. It depends on the type of machine that you have, and then how great the distance is between the hole right here and then the plate. You're going to lower your shank here. So the distance now between the hole and the plate is going to determine which of these you're going to pick. Now for the blue one, this is actually for the older machines. If you have a really old machine, then you would use this one. If the thread goes in through the side of the needle, let's say from left to right. If you feed the thread through your needle from the front of the needle and then you pull it out directly out of the back, you're not going to use this. I don't have a really old machine, so we're getting rid of that one. So now we just have this one and this one. So if you measure from the hole to the plate and it's a 1/2 inch distance, you're going to use the red. If it's a 1 inch distance, then we're going to go with the yellow. Mine is very short. I've already measured it, so I'm going to go ahead and use the red. The only thing with the yellow is you'll see it has notches on both sides. Now, if you have a 1 inch, you're going to use this yellow one, and I'll show you how to put it on. If you have a slanted needle, you're also going to use the yellow one, especially if you have a 1/2 inch from the hole to the bottom. So I'm going to show you how to attach these pieces to the white, and then how we put it back on our machine. So we have our white foot down here, and the big piece in the bottom with the hole, whoops, that's the part, there you go, that's the part that's going to lay flat like that. And then we have this other little piece here that moves around and rotates. It slides. So I'm just going to move this to the side, and then you're going to see right here there's a slot. These pieces fit into the slot right here. So you'll see right here on the side it's a little rectangle square, and that slits right inside here. And then on the yellow I have one right here, and then I have one right over here. So we're going to go ahead and fit that. Now if you look at the yellow, you'll see I have a U-shaped hole on this side, and then I have one on this side. That's because this is reversible. If you look closely, it's kind of hard to see in this view, but there's an X that's right here. If I were to fit this in a slot with the X closest to the white part, that's for the lawn shank. See how that just slips right there? So now this is ready to be put on the machine. I'm going to take this off, and if I reverse it and slip it in here, so that now the X is far away from the white part. This is for the slanted needle. I'm going to take this off now, and now I'm going to slip in the red one because this is the one that I'm going to use. So let's see here. Just slip it right in there. So this is now for the short shank, and now it's ready to be put on my machine. And I'm going to make sure that this part is down by the feed teeth and by the needle plate, and this is going to fit around the shank. Okay, with the foot assembled, we're now going to put it on our shank here, and I'm going to put the red part, so this red part fits onto the shank right here, and the top of it hits just right where this lip is. So I'm going to slip it like this, and the part of the foot right here that has the hole, that's going to be in the front towards you. You're just going to push it on there until it won't go any higher, and then you're going to stick your screw back in the hole on this side. So I'm just going to lower my shank here. So now I'm going to put my screw in, and you'll notice that this fits comfortably onto the plate. It's not being pressed down too much by the shank. So once I put the screw in, that's going to be good to go. And then I can put my needle back in. And you want to make sure that your needle goes through the hole right there. Right now mine doesn't. If you need to adjust it, you're going to be moving the bottom part of this foot here because this slides. See how that slides like that? So I'm just going to slide it to where that's going to fit. I'll put my foot back down here, and then I'll just test it to make sure it goes right through. See how I got? So I just need to move it over just a little bit more probably, but I'll do that after I put my screw in because it's a little bit easier. So then after you do that, you can go ahead and thread your needle again, and then we'll be good to go to start putting on our zipper. I'm going to start pinning my zipper to my skirt here. So this is the center back of my skirt, and this is right side facing up. Here's my basting stitch that I did earlier. And I have my zipper. The right side of the zipper is the side that has the little tab. If you can feel the teeth of the zipper, that's the wrong side. So we're going to imagine the zipper is probably going to fit like this on our skirt. So just as you would do with fabric, you're going to do right side of zipper to right side of fabric like this. The first thing you need to do is open up your zipper, and you're going to place the edge of the zipper teeth and line it up with the edge of your basting stitch. So this is our 5/8 inch seam allowance. We're going to go from the top of our fabric to the top of where our zipper starts. That should be down about 3/4 of an inch. So once we start lining it up, we're going to pin our zipper into place like that. So I'm just going to go down and pin every few inches because I want to make sure that the teeth is perfectly lined up with my basting stitch here. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to use the foot that we just assembled, and it's going to help us stitch right alongside the other side of the teeth here. So it's going to get really close to the teeth, and that's what's going to sew it in. So once we flip it right side out, it's going to go like this, and that's how your zipper is going to work. So I'm going to go ahead, finish pinning this, and then I'm going to bring it to the machine so then we can start sewing it. I already started sewing my zipper, and you'll notice at the bottom of this zipper foot here there are two little notches. I have a notch here, I have a notch here. You're going to want to fit your zipper teeth in this right notch so it fits right over the zipper teeth. It's because the needle needs to come in on the left of the teeth, and it sews right along here so we get as close as possible to the teeth itself. So you're also going to make sure that your needle still comes directly through your hole. We don't want it to get caught in the white plastic part. So I'm just going to slowly go down, and you'll see that it just keeps, the teeth just keep feeding through that notch there, so it helps keep it nice and straight. And I'm going to sew until I get to the end of my zipper tape where the foot hits the head of my zipper where the tab is. And once I get to that point that I can't go any further, I'm just going to do a back stitch, and then we're going to work on pinning the zipper tape to the other side of the skirt and then sewing that into place as well. Okay, so I'm just getting to the end here. And then it stops right there. So now I'm just going to do a couple back stitches. And now I'm going to take it out so we can pin the other side. Now we're going to pin the other side of our zipper to the other side of our project right here. So this is the other center back part of my skirt. And again, you're going to put the right side of the zipper to the right side of the fabric. So I have right side facing up, and again, here's my basting stitch. You're going to start 3/4 of an inch down. You want to make sure you measure this so it's exactly the same as the other side, because we want to make sure that when we close this, it's going to be even. And just as you did with the other one, you're going to line up the edge of the zipper teeth with the edge of your seam allowance right here. So I'm just going to get my pins, and I'm going to finish pinning. And it's the exact same step as the last one. And then I'm going to go back to my machine, and then I'm going to stitch right alongside the teeth on the opposite side. Now with the raw edge of our fabric being on the right hand side, that means that our zipper teeth is now going to be in the left notch here, because we want the needle to come down on the right hand side. So just as I did with the other one, I'm going to go ahead and sew right down the edge of the zipper until I can't go any further because I reached the zipper tab, and then I'm going to back stitch there as well. At this point, now that I have both sides sewn on, I'm going to zip up my zipper like that. And what we have to worry about next is finishing up our back seam. So that's the part that's down here. Mine isn't very much, but what I'm going to do is whatever you have left, you're going to pin the two sides together. And we're going to stitch, well, see on mine I can stitch right along the basting line because that's our 5/8 of an inch seam allowance here. and I'm just gonna move my tape out of the way. To turn it this way. So I'm gonna stitch from here, right along the 5/8 inch seam allowance, to a little bit past where I have my finished zipper stitch right here. So probably for about there. So it's gonna be about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch as far as you can get. So that's gonna finish up the back seam, and at that point we're almost done putting in our zipper. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish pinning this, and then I'm gonna go back again to the machine so I can sew my seam allowance. I'm ready to sew the remainder of my back seam. So I'm starting at the bottom of my skirt now, or at the bottom of the zipper, I should say. And you can still keep on the zipper foot that you have. You're just going to move your zipper foot so now your needle is in this little notch that's right to the right here. And I'm going to go down to my bottom stitch of where I ended off on my zipper, so that's right there. And I'm going to get as close to that as possible, and I'm not going to go all the way to the end. I'm going to go a little bit up, maybe about 1/8 of an inch. And I folded my zipper in half and pulled it away because I don't want to stitch through my zipper. So you want to get as close as you can without going through the zipper at all. Let me just go over a little bit more. There we go. And then I'm going to start sewing my seam, and you're going to definitely want to do a back stitch here. And I don't have very much because my zipper is so long compared to my fabric pieces here. But after you sew about a couple of inches, you can go ahead and do a knot and then change your presser foot to a regular presser foot if you so wish. But I'm not going to because I don't really have that far to go. Okay, and then when I get to the end here, I'm just going to do another back stitch. And then we only have one more step, and then we're done with our invisible zipper. I finished sewing my bottom seam, and I opened up my seam so you can see it right here. There's one side, here's the other side. And all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to tack maybe about 1 inch to 1.5 inches the bottom part of my zipper tape to my seam allowance only. So I'm going to lift this up. Here's the other half of my skirt, so it would be like this, and I pulled this over like this so I would only have the seam allowance part only. So I also changed to my zipper foot so I'm able to reach the seam okay. It's just my regular zipper foot. And I'm just going to do a quick stitch. And this is just going to hold the bottom of the zipper tape to my seam. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side here. So I'm going to shift all this skirt over. Let me take this off. So I'm going to shift it like this. And now all my fabric for my skirt is over on the other side since the seam allowance is free. So it's not going to show up on the other side of my skirt. And I'm just going to stitch right on this other side to tack it down. After that point, the only thing you need to do is remove your basting stitches that you did at the beginning, so that will no longer be showing. And at that point, you would have successfully put in an invisible zipper. Here I have the completed invisible zipper. I still have to remove my basting stitches, so that's the black that you see. But here's my tab at the top, and it works great. So if you do the invisible zipper right, and obviously if I was doing it in this fabric, I would do it a different color, but I did it black so it'd be easier for you to see the contrasting. You should only see the tab out of the invisible zipper. That's why it's called an invisible zipper. So that's how you do it, and good luck in doing it on your own.